The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or
It's Thursday, the 30th and final day of November 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House and Lindos. I'm Jamel Hartman. He's Rajay Denbrook, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Raj, before I ask you how you doing today, I'm stuffed up again. Let me tell you why. This is crazy because I never ever used to get colds or sick, but it's been cold here, and don't judge me, but it's been in the high 50s this week, right?
That's cold.
Yeah, but there's people that live up north be like, that's not cool, whatever, right?
Yeah, their nerve endings are damaged. That's what that is.
Weird people. So when I came in my place, I was like, man, it's so cold in here. Why so cold? Do you know how many hours it took me to realize that the AC was on?
Oh, dang. It's okay. You're tired. You're tired. That's what it is.
Raj. And then I try not to use the AC because I have a little fan, a little one of those small little fans you purchase off Amazon to keep the, electricity low. They have a version of Belco in South Florida. And your boy slept with that on him.
Oh, so you were asking for it.
Yeah, Rod. So your mate's been a bit stuffed up again because it's not like it's just not tuned in. It's not something's not clicking or something. You feel?
Okay. It's okay. Life is a rhythm. You know what I mean? You just go with the flow.
Yeah.
You
But
give yourself grace.
yeah. It happens sometimes. But how you doing?
I'm all right. I cut it close again this morning.
Oh yeah.
Cut
I
it
mean,
close again today.
the key is that you cut.
This is true. I make it. I think I just need to slightly improve on how I make it. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Give myself a little, the
Yeah.
theme song's playing. I shouldn't be running around putting on my pants. You know what I mean?
I mean, Raj, no one knows whether you had pants on or not. So I mean, you could have, yeah.
Hey, well, that's a point.
see. Look, all they see is up top, bro.
This is true. There's a 70% chance tomorrow I'm not gonna have any pants on.
You know what, Raj? And to keep it PG, no one will ever know if I do or not.
This is
Yeah. But you know what? That's why we could half dress good. All we have to worry about is what the top looks like.
this is true.
I was running around before the show trying to find my magic comb because gotta comb the beard and whatnot.
Got that bird game. Got to get that bird game tight.
Yeah, I got to keep it tight. So I found the magic comb right before we came on. So a little Russian rod, folks. One day we'll give you a blooper reel about what happens backstage before we come on. It's a show in itself. But anyway, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Traci Burgess on with some updates from KBB, brought to you by the great folks at Wilmot Trucking, who ensure that they're able to do this with us every month. The daily play is more holiday trivia, Raj.
All right.
Did you get yesterday?
I didn't get yesterday. It was scratchy. Maya got yesterday.
No, it wasn't scratchy. It was the hotel, the plaza.
Oh, it was the plot. Yeah, see, Maya got that too.
This guy, maybe, you know what? She's very competitive. Like,
you know
if
what?
I've seen her on the show doing it. Like, she's, man, actually, I'm thinking about pulling out the basketball game. She might injure me by mistake, because of her competitiveness.
I wouldn't. You know what? I wouldn't play against Maya in no sport. Nah.
Yeah,
I got mark.
yeah. Let me reconsider. I'm thinking about that. But
Let's stay in our lane. Let's know our place. Like, no, let's not do that.
I just want to dunk on it once. But anyway, look, folks, this is the last day to participate in our survey. So if you haven't done so already, please go on our website, click the link, fill out the survey. Only do it once. To all of those who have participated, we are grateful. We are thankful for you for participating in the survey. It really does help us as we collect data and information to make decisions that are in the best interest of the show that you would like to see. For instance, one of the questions on the survey: do you prefer the time of the show right now, or would you like to do it an hour earlier? That was a question on the survey. So those things, as far as what the format looks like, again, all on you. So we appreciate your willingness to participate in this survey. Again, if you haven't done so already, please hit us up and do it. Also, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Well, we have a very important conversation, and I just want to say thank you to Kai Vernay, who just became a YouTube member. And folks, honestly, that's one of the greatest gifts you can give us, is if you just become a YouTube member on YouTube. There's different levels. We would really appreciate that. So on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see scrolling down the bottom how to do it. Just hit the join button under the video to become an official member of the Daily Hour channel. So again, thank you to Kai Vernay, please tell me how to pronounce it, for becoming the latest member of our YouTube channel. Now, what does it mean? It means you're going to get priority in terms of comments. When you write stuff in the comments, you will be prioritized. You'll get some goodies and gifts and invited to certain things that we do. And you'll probably get to hang out with cool people like Rajay and Maya. Yeah. I mean,
Put your don't make me jump through the screen this morning. Let's not do that.
okay. Well,
we talk ourselves up here. We speak life, Jamel. We speak life.
I mean, I think they're pretty cool, but you know.
Why is your name not on the list? Don't get on my nerves.
Me? It's not cool, but who said I want to be around people in person?
You know what? Wow, your transparency is a thing to be admired. I'm here for it. No, you're not, and I'm not playing. If we're on that same tip, I'm just saying, Rajay is an inherent introvert. I give the impression that I am an extrovert. I am not. I am a committed introvert.
Raj, I think I've become introverted as I've gotten older. You know, before I would be in the hallways of school, college, even on the street, shaking people's hands and everything. And I think as I've gotten older, I've become a bit more withdrawn, because I think I've become more serious about my goals and my life. And sometimes things kind of take you off. But hey, you know what? Let's Ebony Susan's laughing. I think she's laughing at our behind the scenes stuff. Good morning to you, Karen Simmons. Good morning to you, Suzanne Ingham. And Hadley Swan says, I look forward to the behind the scenes. I don't know. I don't know. Suzanne Ingham says, FYI, no one cares what goes on below your chest. What we see is very respectful. I got a joke for you today, though.
Let's go.
All right. Here's today's joke, folks. Ready? Okay. What do you call an elf when it wins the lottery?
Wealthy, candy. What?
What do you call an elf when it wins the lottery? Wealthy. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, these are dad jokes. Peak dad jokes.
Wealthy. Yeah, wealthy. Yeah, elf, wealthy.
It's like a cute little 7-year-old Bermudian baby who still pronounce their THs with an F.
Yes.
There we go. Okay, so now it's like okay. Here we go.
See, Kathy got it, but wealthy. You gotta spell it like elf. Just put the W in front of the wealthy. Gary Marina says, I hung out with Hartman before. Trust me, y'all don't want to do it.
Hey, Gary doesn't care, yo.
Look, they're laughing at the joke. The joke hit. We hit it this morning. We hit it. All right, folks,
You know, real quick, Gary. When Gary posts his little marriage things on Facebook, I'm barely on Facebook, but his little marriage quips with him and his wife, like I die each and every time.
I have a nickname for people like Guy Moreno. It's called Coach Boy. You know?
Oh snap! That's like why you're trying to stoke. I'm not in that one, Gary.
During cup match time, especially during cup match time, when he runs on about that Somerset team. Yeah, that coach. Yeah, he keeps it.
Oh yeah, never mind. We ain't on the same wrong cup match, Gary. We can't talk.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. People like him. But let's jump into it. Very important conversation, folks. Again, we have KBB coming up, some updates, but Maya had done some reports earlier this week, and she spoke about Bermuda's birth rate. And I mean, if you look the world over, the birth rate has been dropping in many, many countries. And I know some research you sent, Raj, last night. Maya's also sent some things. I think we even have a video. But I think it really stood out when you saw the decline in numbers in local schools, right? And really trying to find out, number one, why is the birth rate lower? That's number one. Like, why is it lower? And then once we find out why it's lower, what are the solutions to that? What are the solutions to it? And this, I don't think people quite understand how concerning this is, right? Now, keep in mind, there are more professionals these days. Some people just don't want children. There are people who can't have children. There are people who can't afford to have as many children as their, parents and grandparents had. There's so many different reasons, right? I don't think there's any study or research being done in Bermuda as to why. But the question of the morning is very simple. After seeing those concerning numbers, what should Bermuda do to increase the birth rate? What should Bermuda do, Raj?
I'm gonna be honest with you. So when my contemporaries ask me about having, because obviously I have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, right? They ask me, what do you think about having children? I tell them, don't do it. I mean, so straight up saying, don't have kids. The world is in a crazy place. The future is not looking great. It is expensive to have children. Socially, our values aren't exactly child-centric. Yeah, I'm one of those. And people ask me, do you want to have a third child? Hell no. I don't want to bring any more children into this world. So money is obviously a huge factor. Our social policies around family, I think, are lacking. Bermuda's not one of those child-centric countries that really upholds family properly in a policy framework and then elevates the experience of children. So I don't really want to bring any more children into Bermuda and raise children in Bermuda. If you, for example, if you don't have money to make certain programmatic choices for your children, like put them into after-school programs or send them to your school of choice or blah, 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 you're not going to be able to necessarily give the children the experience that they want. And again, Bermuda is a place that's really bad for that, right? Bermuda is very economically not segregated. Segmented. I can't get the word out. But if you're not earning money like paper in this country, you're not going to be able to give your children a very rich and robust programmatic experience. At least you can give them everything else, but in that sense, they're what am I trying to say? Their opportunities are going to be limited. So money is a huge thing. Our attitudes towards children, our family policies, socially where we're at. Yeah, I would, if I didn't have kids, I would definitely be making the choice to not have any more children.
Yeah, I'm curious, audience. What do you think? I mean, what are your thoughts? What does Bermuda need to do? And Raj, let's be honest. Economics is front and center, right? It's front and center. It's costly. It costs money to have children.
Yeah, it's expensive as heck. I mean, just so for example, my older baby, she wants to ride horses and she wants to do gymnastics. She's already doing other 2 activities that she's being sponsored for, which I'm very grateful for because I don't have the money to pay for it. But these are things that she's interested in, and she's a very talented young woman, and I would like her to do them. She ain't going to be doing them anytime soon because I don't have the money. My younger baby, equally as talented. She wants to do dance and play some instruments. And she also wants to do some martial arts. And on top of, again, she does these activities that her older sister sponsored for. Again, she ain't doing that anytime soon because I ain't got the money.
Mm.
It's, you know, and then if you,
But let me stop you there. How does it make you feel as a parent that you want to help them do what they want to do that is actually beneficial for them, but you simply can't because of the economy and the economics at play? Like, as a parent, how does that make you feel?
uh, it messes with it can mess with your self-esteem. Not gonna lie, and because especially when, you know, every child is super talented, so I'm not gonna use that as a framework, but when you have children who are interested in things, who are driven, who are enthusiastic, and you can't meet their enthusiasm simply because you're not working in IB making six figures, you know, if you're not, you know, a lawyer making six figures, that can mess with your self-esteem. But, you know, where there is a will, there is a way. I make sure that my kids are able to do the things that they want to do, and I'm going to make sure that they can do those things that they want to do. But I really think that's what it is. You shouldn't have to have one of those high paying, high profile jobs just for their children to be able to access opportunity. That's a problem. I don't want to work in IB, right? That's not what I want to do. I might, if I do, I might want to be an actuary, you know, but that's really all I really want to do. Um, I don't really want to be a lawyer, you know, I'd be good at it. Don't really want to do it. I don't want to work in IT, you know. I like all of the things that I'm talented in and interested in. They don't immediately, you know, earn you a whole pile of money. But that doesn't mean that my kids shouldn't be able to enjoy opportunities as if they have as if, you know, a child from like a high income parent. Like, it doesn't. And in other places in the world where you have strong family policies, they make sure your children can. You can go to the government and say, I'm in this income bracket. What do you have? And they say, oh, we have this after school grant. We have this sort of grant for your child. You know, we have child benefits. We don't have that in Bermuda. You can go and get, what's that, child daycare allowance? And I think that's about it.
Mm, mm. It's interesting, folks, and audience. Let us know your thoughts. I mean, Rod just listed a lot of concerns, and you know, Ebony Souza says, "I echo all of that, Rajay. We naturally want our kids to have access to better opportunities, but boy, is it hard." Suzanne Ingham says to the question, "What should Bermuda do to increase the birth rate?" She says, "Lower the cost of living for them." Right, and that's a conversation that continues to happen. She goes on to say, "It may make you feel like a failure when you can't prove in all areas of your child's life." Audience, let us know. This is an important well, every conversation we have is important, but less people and a lower birth rate has such an impact on the very things we're talking about, like the cost of living. We've seen this with immigration. You know, I think you know, if we understand why we need more people in Bermuda and how it lowers the cost of things, we should understand how important this is. You know, something that you know, another thing people were talking about is, you know, there's things like maternity leave, right? And I've said on this show a number of times. I remember when I was in graduate school doing my master's, and I didn't realize, you know, we look at the United States as this great country that has everything going on that's great, right? But then they don't even have within law maternity leave. And I learned then that the United States and Papua New Guinea were the only two countries who did not have maternity law, um, maternity leave, sorry, maternity leave in law. And I just Googled, and still to this day, the United States, Papua New Guinea, and a few island countries in the Pacific Ocean, namely the Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Nauru, Palau, and Tonga, are the only 7 countries in the United Nations that do not require employers to provide paid time off for new parents. Now, what I will say in a Bermuda context is the government of Bermuda has done very well in that respect. They've done very well. But it's still a concern the world over because, I mean, you've got women who they go on maternity leave, and we've got to ask, is the time off enough with children?
So is the time off? Say it again. I'm sorry.
Is the time off enough for new children?
Oh God, no. No.
The child's premature and needs the parent there a bit more. Like there's so many things that, and I guess I understand the purpose of a law is to make sure bare minimum at least. But it reminds me of the vacation law, like the personal time off, where I've shared this on the show before. Someone who worked for government was saying, "Oh well, by law, you're only supposed to have 5 days off or 10 days off." And I said, "But you're saying that like that's a good thing." I said, "It's like it's one of the arguments I had against minimum wage. It's like if you tell someone that that's all they have to pay, you think they're not going to just pay you that? If you tell them all I have to give you is 3 months, they could care less whether your child needs more time with you.
Mm-hmm.
They're going by the law. No, some companies may have company policy, right, where they have extended time. But most will have those policies that go by the exact law if they could. So if a woman is thinking of that, and let's be honest, knowing that time out of work is going to cost them, really? You think they're going to want to have multiple children and a family? But Bermuda has to do something to get the birth rate up. We have to. Like, I know there were countries that were paying people at one time, right?
Yep. Yeah. So that was an incentive. Who did? Finland did it, Japan did it, Russia did it. And in all of them, they did see an uptick in their births after that. So I think Finland, for example, a few municipalities in Finland, they were giving 10,000 euros over a 10-year period. And in each municipality, they saw an uptick in births. I think it was one, they saw an increase by 60 births in the immediate year preceding the pilot introduction of it. And it parallels really well universal basic income, right? So no matter that idea that no matter how much you earn or if you're in a certain income bracket, the government will give you a certain amount of money each month. Right. And in most universal basic income trials, you see improvement. Like, for example, there was one done with the homeless population, and they gave homeless or housing insecure people, I think, was like $1,500 a month, and they were able to get on their feet, find a job, get in a house. So I feel like incentivizing prospective parents with some cash, it makes complete sense. It's something that it immediately addresses that issue of having children is expensive, right? But that's not the only thing. We'd also need to match policy to this, right? And I'm really glad that you brought up maternity leave or parental leave, because 3 months is not enough, right? Your baby's 3 months old. That child still needs to be at home with at least one parent, right? In countries that understand this, in genuinely child-centric countries. And you know what? I tweeted about this yesterday. Again, we're being timely. In Bermuda, we like to say what a lot of people like to claim, that we are a child-centric country. We are not a child-centric country. We're not, right? When you're a child-centric country, everything about how children develop, youthhood, all of these things are honored, cherished, uplifted, and protected, right? In school, in the home, in the community, everywhere. That is not Bermuda, right? And Traci actually makes an excellent point. It should be a year. It should be a year minimum, and that time should be able to be split between each parent, however they want to divvy it out, right? So if you want to do 9 months mom, 3 months dad, 5 months mom, 7 months dad, that's how it should be. And in those cases, you see an increase, you see a positive impact on the child's development. I'm going to say one more thing. So, during COVID, everybody's like, oh, COVID babies, they're advanced, they're this, that, and the other. Guess what COVID babies had? Their parents at home.
Well, Raj, I wanna take an angle against you and Traci, because this was an argument for small businesses, right? A small business with 3 full-time employees, where one person handles accounting, one person does sales, and one person does operations, right? Their argument is that, well, we can't afford to give someone 1 year of leave because we just don't have the capacity, right? That was their argument. Should it be case by case basis, or should all companies exist with plans to understand that this is a part of life and may happen? You get what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
because that's kind of devil's advocate. They would say, well, we just can't afford. We're a very small company. We don't have it like that.
I don't think that's devil's advocate. I think that's a solid point. So I think if when this policy is created, and it's something that I think will happen in the near-ish future, in the midterm future for us, when you're creating policy, it needs to be comprehensive. You need to look at the entire picture. And obviously, we need to look at small businesses and what their capacities would be in order to accommodate this policy. So I think that the government would have to put some sort of grant or subsidy in place for those kinds of situations. I do think parental leave should be extended to a year, ideally, but that shouldn't be putting any small businesses out. So the government would have to step in, like the BEDC would have to step in to make sure that they can operate, that the policy doesn't undermine them.
All right, so I want to go to this comment. We're going to go to commercial break, then come back with Maya. But Charles H. Jeffs II says, when or if we have real tax reform, there should be some sort of financial incentive for those who have children, those who earn the same wage, payroll tax at the same rate, regardless of children. I get that, Charles. And Teray says government should step in then. Until we start prioritizing domestic life, nothing will get better. I agree with you. I agree. Let's just play this video Maya shared yesterday, and then we'll take a commercial break, then bring Maya in. But watch this video, folks. Please watch this and digest it, and let us know your thoughts after you watch it.
Did you know that New Zealand will actually pay you a weekly allowance for the entire first year of your child's life, regardless of your family's income? I'm an American that's been living in New Zealand for the last 6 years. I gave birth to my third and fourth babies here in New Zealand, and the care and support that I received during pregnancy, birth, and postpartum was so much better than what I'd received in the United States. So one way that New Zealand supports new parents is that they provide a weekly allowance for all families that have given birth to a new baby for the entire first year of your child's life, regardless of your family's income. So if you are a New Zealand citizen or resident, you are eligible to receive this payment, or if you are just caring for a child who is a resident and present in New Zealand. So for 2023, the Best Start payment was $69 a week. Now, I know this isn't groundbreaking or anything, or going to cover the cost of all your diapers, but coming from the United States, where we had to pay a huge amount of money just to give birth, to have all of our prenatal, birth, and postpartum to be completely free and to receive a payment for the first year of our child's life was pretty amazing.
In over 30 years, Mailboxes has brought in millions of packages. That's a lot of packages. We started way back in 1990.
Ship a boombox. Well, okay, sure, we can do that. Check you later.
And ever since, we've evolved.
All right, let's bring Maya in for the Daily Hour news break. See what she's got for us. See if she's got some things to add to this conversation, as it was her who spoke about the birth rate just recently.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, MP. How are you?
I'm feeling pretty decent this morning. How are you guys?
Wonderful, wonderful. I feel like we're in an esteemed company this morning.
I agree.
I remember yesterday, Raj, at the end of the show, you said congrats to Teray. And I see that she's in the audience commenting. So I just, I feel an esteemed company just to echo Charles's comments saying, good morning, Parade 12 Road Scholar. Glad to be in this space with you this morning. I mean, it's not every day you just get to hang out with people of this caliber. I mean, me hanging out with you two, I thought, these were heights. And then we've got someone else.
Hey,
Big achievement. Big up.
yeah, you're stressing us out. You got to let us know when you're coming on. Like, you just can't be showing up anymore. Real scholar. Just saying.
But I want to ask you, Maya. I mean, you have reported on this recently on the birth rates. And before we get into that, did you find my joke funny this morning?
I thought it was too easy. I like something that's not that on the nose. I was in the back like
Competitive.
Yeah, I was like, Alfie, duh.
She's so hard to please, isn't she? Okay, fine. We'll get a hard one tomorrow. But let's talk about the birth rate. I mean, what are you thinking? What does Bermuda need to do to increase the birth rate?
Well, we're thinking about incentives as we had before. I know the ministry has also tried to put in different incentives for like bringing Bermudians back. So I'm sure in some package that they might have had this similar ideas of what they can do to increase our birth control. I know they're still working on immigration and things like that, which I assume that they would think would also help as well with, the levels of birth rates in Bermuda. Now, you saw the TikTok video that I played, and I know that the woman in there was talking about New Zealand and how it was just $69 a month, she said. But in total, that's about $3,312 a year. That's an incentive for these parents who have first, have their children. So that's something.
She said a week, actually.
Yeah, $69 a week. So that'll be total of $3,312 for the full year. Even I did the math.
So hold on. Bermuda government's going to say they're broke. The Bermudian people are going to say they're broke. Okay.
What do you mean?
They don't know where's the money going to come from to pay for
the whole question is, where's the money going to come from? Now, interesting. Fabula says, can use an insurance plan like social insurance, workers come to pay for maternity or paternity. Like, again, are these some ideas we need? I like what Malachi Troy said, because I feel like everything comes back to this, which someone said, like the cost of living. Allow young people to have opportunities, infrastructure. No one wants to have kids in a place where they can barely sustain themselves. And then Teresa and Marie says, what if most individuals actually planned and prepared for what they want in life? Teresa and Marie, if only it were that easy.
Seriously, nobody would be having children.
Let's be clear about this. You think people plan to struggle? I'm not quite sure the struggle was part of most people's plan. But things happen beyond our control sometimes.
But it's not, and it's not even, and I think it's a step beyond that. Like, you have countries who understand that we are human beings existing with each other, and the government affirms life in a particular way. It's really that simple, right? If you affirm life, if you believe in community genuinely, the government's going to show up in a certain way. So it's not that sort of hyper individualism of, oh, you're that's a you problem. It's like, no, this is an us issue. So how can we support you proactively, regardless of your economic background, right? That's what it is.
Yeah. This is a good one. This convo could go on for ages, but Maya, I know you've got news for us. What you got?
Well, good morning. Good morning. This is Daily Hour Newsweek brought to you by People's Pharmacy. So starting out the news this morning, as we talked about yesterday, a little bit about the travel and expenses that, our ministers or the premier as well is doing throughout the year, and, what that cost is and what it means to us. So I went on to the gov.bm site and saw the travel calendar. Now I put it down and I broke it down into what they had there on display. Now, this might seem a little bit less than maybe you were thinking, because from what it is in the 2023, what I saw on the gov.bm was only 11 trips, and none of them pertain to the premier. But this is what we have right now. You see the ministers that have gone on trips for 2023. We have the Minister Wayne Furbert, Minister of Transport. We have the Minister Owen Darrell, Minister of Tourism, Culture and Sport, Minister of National Security, Michael Weeks, and Minister of Youth, Social Development and Seniors, Tanae Furbert. The one with the highest racking up in cost of travel is the Minister Owen Darrell at $19,275.67 for this year alone so far. And the lowest would be the Minister of National Security, Michael Weeks, at $1,501 total. Now, Minister Darrell has taken a total of 5 trips so far. And I believe I did have the total at the bottom there of the image, but you can't quite see it. Jamal, are we able to take away that far at the thank you very much. So the total for the expenses so far is $36,609.01. So that's what they have there. However, I did do a little bit more digging in my own emails to see when the premier had traveled, and also if there was anything on socials that showed when any other minister had traveled. So this is what I got into account. A total of 8 trips that I did not see accounted for on the gov.bm site. Majority of them, or 7 of them, are from the premier, and then 1 being from the Minister of Education, Diallo Bain, to a trip in Tokyo as well. So those are what I found through my emails and social media, and I did follow up with government email just asking whether or not these trips were either paid for themselves or still government paid them, why they are not on the site, and if they can update them if they're meant to be. So that's what we know so far.
I just want to ask Rajay, why do you believe the premier's trips would be omitted from that?
Why would the premier's trips be omitted from that list?
Can I add something before you answer? Only because he is put in 2022. He is there in 2022, but continue on.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't his trip? Why would his 2022 trips, his 2023 trips, and 2023 trips from other ministers are on there?
The ones that you saw me post, these are the 11 that were the only ones that were there for the travel calendar. And it's most up-to-date recent one would be October the 12th. Yeah, that you see there. So it's not like they're not being put in. It's just some are not.
Being omitted. Why would the premier? Well, the counter argument might be he's paying for himself, which is could be a counter argument.
Mm-hmm.
But then, and I was thinking about this last night. If you're going away on government business, representing the country, why would you be doing it on your own dime? But if you're doing it on your own dime and you don't have to report it, are you trying to do it so that are you paying for it yourself so that people don't know? You don't have to report it technically. So I don't want to speculate too much and stir things up unnecessarily, but it don't look right.
So we'll find out more hopefully when I get a response from the government communications.
Thank you for that, Maya.
No problem. So I did do a little bit more into this just because I was curious, if we did decide as a nation, well, maybe if we don't go on as many trips and we give that money to, people who trying to have children as an incentive, what would that look like with just this 33,000 that was spent according to the stats that I have on hand. So, just looking at that, okay, so total expenses, $36,609.01. There was a total of 479 births. And so we're looking at $76.62 per child. Now, is that worth it for this amount? You guys let me know.
Put it back up real quick. I love the way you did this.
This is great, Maya. This is amazing. This is incredible work.
I'll say this much. Raj, we just asked the question that always comes up. Absolutely, Renee Simmons. We just asked the question, Maya. And the question was, the first thing people will say about incentives is, where's the money going to come from? Maya just answered the question. We had a conversation yesterday asking, did the premier and deputy premier need to attend this event in Dubai? Do we need to continue to attend events overseas when we have technology? Continue, Maya.
Oh, yeah, those are the responses that I had there and the work that I did. So in other news, though, public advisory, the visitor allowed length of stay in Bermuda. So this was recently put out. And just to put on some key points, that the policy changes clarifies the following conditions. Number 1, if a visitor has not been in Bermuda within the past 6 months, they can stay in Bermuda for a consecutive 180 days without violating the 180-day policy. So that's probably the main thing you get out of that. Second one would be if a visitor has been in Bermuda for 180 days or more within the past 6 months, they cannot return to Bermuda within the next 6 months, as they would violate the 180-day policy. So that's something new that just was put out by the
You're not a mathematician, but 180 days, that's about 6 months?
Yes, just about, yeah.
All right,
So 6 months is so you could literally be 6 months here, leave for 6 months. If you're going into the new year, you could come back for another 6 months.
Okay, gotcha.
something like that. Other news, there was also a statement that was put out by the One Bermuda Alliance Senator Ducuto about the government refusal to answer the hack questions. Now, this happened yesterday in the Senate. Now, I'm going to just play a quick video for you guys, just what the discussion and the discourse was going on within the Senate, so you can hear between the Minister Owen Darrow and Senator Douglas Ducuto. So let's listen in.
As the senator will know, that there's been many statements made by this, and he will also know that there's an active investigation that is still current and active regarding these questions that the senator has asked. So I ask that Order 65, Standing Order 65-4F, that these matters are secret, be put in place in regards to these questions, Madam President, as to not hinder or interfere with any active investigation. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Ducuto, the minister has given his ruling on that. It's an active investigation.
Thank you, Madam President. I obviously can't
you can't
comment
debate
on that, but you know, the minister must understand that the government's refusal to confirm or deny about this.
Madam President, point of order.
So that was just a little insight as to what was going on. But basically, investigation is still ongoing for the hack, and no questions can be answered at this time. But Minister Ducuto put out a press release just saying, like, it is time for them to answer these questions. If you want other questions, it's quick 3 ones, but I can let you guys know the questions if you want.
Can I interrupt real quickly? And this is not, so you see Raj and I smirking. We're not communicating, but I think we're smirking for the same reason. I just want to share these because Karen Simmons says, this is why I got my news from Maya. Teraytol says, absolutely worth it, Maya. This is phenomenal. I think we're laughing because you know why Donald Trump and a lot of politicians don't like the news media? You know why? Because the news media actually asks the questions and does the research to ensure that they're held accountable. That's why. It's not because people take these narratives and angles. I have my bias. But what they can't do is the people who don't have bias, the journalists, they can't wiggle their way out of that. And I honestly appreciate what you're doing, but I'm smiling because, I mean, they already don't like Rajay and me. And I'm just like, simply for someone doing their job, they're probably developing feelings right now. And it's not okay. It's not okay because nothing that's been shared this morning is wrong or something that should not be discussed publicly. We cannot continue to have conversations on Twitter, Facebook, whatever platform you use, and not delving deeper beyond the surface. And because a Douglas Ducuto, a white senator in Bermuda, may share something, it may be immediately dismissed. We have got to delve deeper because at the end of the day, Maya can't do it all for you.
This is it.
I'll leave it at that. I'm sorry, Maya. Go ahead. Continue.
That's
And really quick, another way of saying delve deeper is pay attention. Sorry, that's it.
Yeah, man.
In other news, what was passed in the Senate yesterday, and I mean, I'm someone that's definitely excited about this. It's the fact that the passing of the Anti-Doping Act did happen. So let's just listen in really quickly. There was actually a lot of discussion back and forth about it and what was put in there. And the Minister Owen Darrow did say that, you know what, there was some things that they had to work around in order for WADA to, accept this new act, that some key points that I'll probably mention in a longer piece on Media Maya, but let's just listen into it actually being passed.
No objection.
Madam President, I move that the bill do now pass.
It has been moved that the bill entitled the Anti-Doping in Sport Act 2023 do now pass. Is there any objection to that motion? No objection. The bill is passed. Thank you, ministers, and thank you, all senators, for passing this bill.
What that means is now we are, according to the minister, months ahead of schedule for this bill going through and for Bermuda to be taken off the wait list from WADA.
All right, that's great news.
I say good news. My only advice is let's not wait until we get in this position again to do what needs to be done.
The minister did go through a very lengthy speech letting everyone know like what happened step by step, and it was appreciated by the other senators in the room. Now, moving on to, again, some more exciting and excellent news that we already spoke about this morning. But Traci, yes, was the Rhodes Scholar for 2024. I got to ask her a couple questions yesterday. She came back to me with some responses. And so let's listen in to her feelings and what she expects now that she is the new recipient.
But it really doesn't feel real. So I'm shocked, I'm grateful, and I'm excited, especially because the Rhodes Scholarship just has so many talented applicants every year applying. And apparently this year was really historically competitive. So I just feel so grateful that the selection committee trusted me. And I'm really excited. I'm going through final exams right now, so I feel like this gave me a little boost to finish strong. And yeah, I just feel grateful that I've had the support of a lot of companies in Bermuda and a lot of people. I feel like everything has kind of led me here. My advice to future applicants would be do it. Absolutely do it. This is such a competitive and rigorous process, and I think regardless of the outcome, you will be enriched by it. So I would just encourage everyone, but girls in particular who are just, a little more susceptible to doubt and insecurity, to just go for it and to just do it. And also reach out to me and other Rhodes Scholars for help. Like, the community is so friendly and open. Which I think is so helpful to balance the prestige of Rhodes and Oxford's intensity. So I think I'm happy for that. And I really don't know what the Rhodes Scholarship means for my future because I haven't taken out the scholarship yet and I haven't gone to Oxford yet. But just based on the amount of support, encouragement, and honestly, energy that I've gotten from being the recipient, I can only imagine that it's going to be life-changing.
And there you have it.
My admiration.
Let me tell you where it's going. Premier toll. My nerves.
No, my admiration for her is second to none. I appreciate and value that someone so young, and I always pick on Maya because that's who I work with most closely. But so many things that are said about young people. I think I've said that Maya dispels them, but so does Teray. I remember her and I talking. Having coffee one time, and I was just like, how old is she? Right? Because she just was very focused on what she wants to do, where she wants to go, how she wants to do it. And through all of that, there was a sense of fearlessness in her that I appreciated. And I tell you, I grew up in a space where, people wondered, why do you challenge the government? Why do you do this? Are you not afraid of what? What they're going to do, lock me up? So I say that because I think it's not just the academia, it's the fearlessness, it's the sense of community, and like she just has something in a fire, a desire to actually be the person who wants to bring about the change she wants to see. So congratulations to her, and I'd encourage anyone who doesn't know her, if she has time, just reach out to her. You can learn something from her, trust me.
And if you haven't already, follow Bermuda Youth Connect. Definitely do that, as she's one of the co-founders of the group. And I'm going to close it out just by reminding everyone about some games that are coming up for the Bermuda women's national football team. You'll be hearing from me on Media Myers. I'll be doing like a breakdown of our athletes and the two new incoming players that will be showcasing their talents for the first time in these new segments for the CONCACAF Women's Gold Cup. And finally, for the weather today, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds with possible early shower or two and a little bit of winds. And we got a high of 69 degrees today.
Thank you so much, Raj. You've got a quick days of the year for us?
Today is Computer Security Day.
Oh. So, this guy is silly.
Hey, it was again, things just lining up. From using strong passwords to avoiding phishing scams, take measures to secure your devices and personal information on Computer Security Day, everybody.
Cyber attacks, well, Computer Security Day. Maya, thank you so much. We're usually not this childish, folks, but I mean,
I am not her, but
Maya, have a wonderful day. We're gonna break. We'll be back. We're gonna do a giveaway a bit later too. Hashtag. But we've got Traci Burgess coming up with some updates, a lot to discuss. Some of the work they've done most recently at the PGA, and focusing on some boats. I'm questioning, like, if you have a boat that you don't care about, you've got money that you can give away. I swear. But stick with us. We'll be right back.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHP staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
When it comes to footwear, we carry functional, comfortable, orthopedic and waterproof shoes. We have construction shoes, golf shoes, shoes for walking, shoes for boating. We even have shoes for pickleball. We have shoes for everyone. With brands by Skechers, Atrax, Propay, Easy Street, Nursemates, Clogs, Avenger, Cherokee, Cat, Frog Talk and DeWalt. The list goes on.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
All righty, welcome back to the big show. Well, congrats again to Ray Tall. Rajay Danbrook, I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Do not forget, last day today to fill out that survey. So if you haven't already, check it out. And subscribe on the website while you're there, dailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Raj, are you have it all out of your system now?
Oh, what, being childish?
Yeah, you know.
Listen, I'm an actor. I know how to show up, how I need to show up, when I need to show up. So, you know, I'm going to try and keep it together for the next little bit. No promises.
All right. Well, folks, while Rajay tries to keep it together, we're going to welcome in our guest today. We've got Traci Burgess coming back from the Bermuda Beautiful. And again, they've done a lot of work this year. I don't know if you've been living on the rock, but I definitely appreciate it. Cop Match, I've seen how they were doing it, knowing that my camp in particular, we have a lot of trash, not as sustainable as we should be. But we do use reusable cups. I want to say that. And I think that's one of the things that really, I said to William yesterday from Bermuda is Love, I said, you know, I had never ordered Shein, never knew about Shein. And I had ordered it right before Aaron Critchlow came on one time. And once he said something about Shein, it all went in the garbage, right? So because they educated me. My hope is that something as simple as using reusable cups, we're being more conscious of it. And whatever the conversations are with Traci, we're taking something from it and improving what can be a better thing for our community and society. So let's give it up for Traci Burgess as she comes back on. Oops, not that one. Woo! My goodness. They're still laughing at my joke from earlier, Traci. They're still laughing at my joke from earlier.
You gotta put the buttons further.
Listen, I'm still laughing. I'm still laughing at Raj talking about he was just grabbing his pants as the intro music was playing.
I'm gonna tell everybody straight up. I ain't doing that anymore. Jamel reminded me.
Listen, how long have you been co-hosting this show? Like it's been a few months now, right?
About 2 months.
Yeah, about 2. Yeah.
And you put pants on every single day?
I have been, and obviously for no damn reason. So
yeah, I mean, Rob, look, you know, but you know, but Traci, man, you've been busy, man. You have been. If you don't already, follow KBB on Instagram. But if anyone's been following, and this is no disrespect to whoever was there before you, but maybe it's because we're more, you know, familiar now, but. It seems like it's been a very active year for you all. And most recently, you were involved with the PGA. Tell us about what that relationship was like, because from cotton match to the cricket to PGA, it seems like you're everywhere and keeping that message of sustainability high in people's minds.
Yeah, so the more specific message is about reducing waste, eliminating litter, and keeping the island beautiful. And, we do have our fingers in a lot of different pots, but they're all contained within those three categories. So you mentioned the golf championship up at Port Royal, and that is our most recent large green event that we've participated in. It was KBB's second year partnering as part of the sustainability goals for the tournament. There is corporate sponsorship, and there's also a partnership with Recycle Bermuda. And so we all come together and, work collaboratively to help decrease the amount of waste that large event is generating. And we, work pretty diligently to promote recycling. So the 10 aluminum and glass, and make sure that we've got, enough bin pairs, the trash and recycle bins all around the golf course, and especially in the food and beverage service areas. So the hospitality tents and, suites and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So you just mentioned recycling. So Recycling Day was November 15th, I believe.
Yeah.
It was. So give us a really quick rundown of how recycling works in Bermuda, what our recycling options are.
Sure. So the most commonly recycled materials here in Bermuda, which come out of household collections and a lot of offices, would be TAG, 10 aluminum and glass. With residential, it's collected every 2 weeks, every other Thursday to west, and every other Friday from central to east are the parishes that are covered in the current recycling collection schedule. Everything gets picked up. It is taken down to the MRF. It's called the Materials Recovery Facility, or the MRF, the MRF for short. It is a real place. There are real people who work there, and Bermuda really does recycle. So the MRF is located at the quarry, the government quarry in Hamilton Parish. Tin and aluminum get crushed, and then they're bundled and shipped off island. So they're sold to a recycling facility on the east coast of the state, which generates a little bit of money coming back in for the Bermuda government and helps to offset those shipping costs. But when they're sold to the recycling facility in the States, they're then, made into flat sheets of tin, flat sheets of aluminum that are then sold to manufacturing facilities. And those items, those sheets, are turned into other usable items. So it takes about 95% less energy to make a can, for example, out of recycled material than it does to make that can from virgin material the first time. So recycling, it really is good and it does work. And then what happens with the glass here in Bermuda, glass stays on island, it gets crushed, and then it's used for drainage solutions all around the island. So in areas that are prone to flooding, low-lying areas like, the sports fields out on Dandytown, Western Star Sports Field, that was graded. It was scraped down, and then it's got layers of, rubble, and then glass, and then the topsoil dirt for the top layer, and it helps to move that water so that they don't have such major flooding issues.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yo, if you don't want flooding, recycle your glass.
Yes.
All right.
Alrighty. The coastal cleanup. So you shared a few numbers about the coastal cleanup the last time you was on. Do you have any more complete or comprehensive data at the moment on the coastal cleanup? And also, could you include some information on the boats that have been lying around in that?
Oh, the abandoned boats. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a separate project from the coastal cleanup, but we can definitely touch on that because there's a lot of new updates on the abandoned boat project. But the island-wide coastal cleanup, which is part of the international coastal cleanup. So Bermuda's data that we collect from our coastal cleanup here on the Rock feeds into a global database. So every October, KBB hosts the island-wide coastal cleanup, and annually, we aim to do 60-ish locations. This year, we had more than 60 locations scheduled, but it rained every single weekend, like for 6 weeks in a row. And a lot of those coastal cleanups ended up just being canceled because we would reschedule and then it would rain. And then, it was just a cycle. But at the end, this year's coastal cleanup, we managed to clean 51 locations. We had about 780 volunteers who came out, a mix of students and adults. And we cleared 19,850 pounds of local litter, illegal dumping, and ocean pollution, marine debris from those 51 locations across the island. So those were specifically focused on like public docks and beaches and areas of coastline.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was
Dang.
amazing.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Huge
And then you
number.
wanted to talk about, well, hold on. Let me wrap up with coastal cleanup because I mentioned that we've been participating in the international coastal cleanup. So KBB and Bermuda have been a part of the international coastal cleanup since the early 1990s. During that time, we have collected almost 250,000 pounds, 250,000 pounds of waste that has been recorded from Bermuda as part of the international coastal cleanup. And we have counted by hand because we do very specific data counts when we do the coastal cleanup. But anyway, we've counted almost 500,000 pieces of ocean pollution and ocean plastics. So those are some pretty big numbers.
Those are huge numbers. And you know what I learned about? I didn't really know much about microplastics. I've heard the word a lot. And then, one of my big girl, one of my older daughter, she's like, Dad, I need to tell you about microplastics. I'm like, sis, educate me. Let me know what's up. She was explaining to me, plastic doesn't disappear. It doesn't decompose. It just gets broken down into little micro. So we've got tiny little pieces of plastic everywhere, and they end up in the water cycle. And it's raining and then they end up in our bodies. So plastic is becoming a part of us. There is something disturbingly poetic about that. It really. But give us some numbers about the abandoned boats really quick.
Yeah, so the abandoned boat project, we have completed the initial batch of 85 boats that were approved for removal last year. So those have all come out. It's cost a total of about $180,000 to remove those 85 boats and derelict marine vessels. The project is a joint initiative with the government of Bermuda. So it goes through quite an extensive process. So we first go out and work with government to identify potential marine vessels that have been abandoned or they're derelict or they've sunk completely. Once we've done the surveys, then government goes through the notifications process. So they identify the boats and the registrations, and they publish those details, advising members of the public, hey, if this is your vessel, you've got 30 days to, move it, remove it, salvage it, whatever you're going to do with it. And if that vessel is not confirmed, if it's not claimed by its rightful owner within that notification period, then the Bermuda government can take ownership of it. And it's after that point, when government has taken official ownership of a vessel, that they would then contact KBB and say, we have ownership of this vessel. Let's get to work on coordinating the removal and proper disposal of it. And at that point, KBB would have been building, budgets and getting estimates and quotes pulled together, and, fundraising as well, because that's a big component of, supporting this project is fundraising. And then we would start the removals process. So we've just recently completed a new survey, and 36 additional vessels, mostly boats, have been identified in that survey. So government will soon be, publishing the official notifications and going through their verification and notification and approvals processes. And then we would expect that sometime, into the start of 2024, we would be able to really launch a robust fundraising campaign. We estimate it's probably going to take somewhere between $90,000 to $100,000 to remove this newest batch of 36 boats and 36 marine vessels. So we've got quite a lot of work ahead of us. And then, once we've got the money to do the removals, there's a lot of coordination and logistics that have to align, and the weather has to cooperate, and there's a lot of moving parts. So but the project is very effective. It's made the waters much cleaner and safer for recreational use and other boaters and swimmers, and cleaner for marine life, and it's just created a healthier and prettier, more scenic marine environment around the island.
So thank you for, and a lot of the times, I don't think people really, you understand like these, so like, how can I say, the policy framework or the logistics around certain things. So you see a boat in the water, there's a lot of paperwork behind that, a lot of things going on, a lot of money behind it. So, when we're thinking about our environment, it's really important to understand that there is like administrative infrastructure around all of these things, right? It's a very complicated thing that you guys are addressing that requires money too, and like lots of money to fix it properly. But last but not least, we are heading into the holiday season where there could be a ton of waste from presents, food waste, all kinds of stuff. So does KBB
All kinds of waste.
all kinds of waste? So does KBB
Yeah.
have any tips for us heading into the holiday season?
Yeah, so holiday tips are not that different from, the same type of messaging and helpful tips that we're sharing with the public all throughout the year. And, we talk a lot about the 3 R's or the 5 R's. So if we want to look at the 5 R's, it's, rethink your lifestyle and your personal habits and rethink your choices. So when you're shopping for this holiday season and you're thinking of gift giving, or you're thinking of your holiday decorations or your holiday food prep and meal service and things like that, think more sustainably, right? And even just having an awareness of what you're buying as a consumer can have a great impact on reducing the amount of waste that your holiday festivities are going to create, right? So rethink your lifestyle choices and personal habits and, your purchases. Refuse single-use plastics. So, we encourage people all the time to say no to single-use plastics. And you spoke about your daughter, educating you about microplastics. And that is a reality of life in the 21st century. Microplastics and single-use plastics, they are toxic and they're hazardous. And there's more information about that on beyondplasticbermuda.bm. But we'll get into that later. So rethink, refuse, say no to single-use plastics or disposable plastics, switch to alternative, resources and materials. And then the next one is reduce the amount of waste that you're generating. So be mindful, right? Try to conserve. One of the greatest ways to reduce the amount of waste that we generate is the 4th R, which is reuse. So switch to reusable products. When you're doing your holiday food service, when you're having family and friends by for your festivities or your holiday meal, use regular china plates, right? Or ceramic plates instead of plastic disposable plates. If you can't use, plates that can be washed and reused, then try to use paper plates instead of plastic. So it's small changes like that. And then glassware or paper cups instead of single-use plastic cups, because the plastics are so toxic. And then the 5th R is recycle. So again, recycle materials here in Bermuda, tin, aluminum, and glass. So try to incorporate that. And then with gift giving, think outside of the box. So make sure that your gifts that you're giving are practical, that they're useful, and that they are sustainable and eco-friendly to the best of your ability.
We've got a lot of questions. Let's try to be as concise as possible so we could get through them. Manuela John's asking, is the recycled glass available to the public?
That I'm not sure. So they do have large skips of it. They're large, like storage containers, dumpsters of the glass. I can check and then get back to you. So send me a note. Either send me a WhatsApp on 747-0822 or send an email to director@kbb.bm, and I will find out for you if it's available, and I'll let you know.
Kevin BDA says, greeting Tracy. Is KBB involved in any projects toward more cleaner and affordable energy? I know there are some places with solar power. However, are there any additional efforts towards affordable energy?
So that does not fall within KBB's remit. So again, our remit is reduce waste, eliminate litter, and keep the island beautiful. So renewable energy, I know Green Rock is very heavily involved in that right now. And Eugene Dean is a wealth of information. So if you're interested in renewable energy, you can touch base with Eugene.
All right, Rosalind Thiem is asking, how many boats were removed last year? And also, can owners of the boats be fined for abandoning ship, literally?
Literally, pun intended. 85 boats have been removed since April of 2022 when the first batch of removals started. And I believe there are enforcement penalties available, but those enforcement powers don't sit with KBB.
Interesting. Good information. Tracy, so what are you going to give away today? We'll do a hashtag giveaway. What are you going to give away to the audience for being such great sports?
Yeah, we've got a goodie bag. It is golf themed because we just recently completed that sustainability partnership with the PGA and the tournament. So you've got like a cap. There's a 1-hour golf lesson with the golf pro up at Port Royal. There's a little bit of KBB swag and some hard seltzer. So it's just a cute little goodie bag.
Cool. Well, just want to send huge props and thanks to Wilmot Trucking for making sure that we can have these conversations on a monthly basis. The information always helpful. Just remind people how they can get in touch and get involved. And, you know, there are companies that may want to do stuff with you. Just what's the best way to contact you?
Our website, kbb.bm, and there's a lot of information on there right now about the season of giving. So, you know, Giving Tuesday, a lot of charitable donations kicked off this week, and then we're heading into the season of giving. So we've got information on our website about that. Also, volunteer opportunities. Also, connect with us and stay engaged on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And then you can also call the office 799-5142, or you can email office@kbb.bm.
All right, Tracy, thank you so much for the conversation, and we'll see you next month.
Yes, sir.
All
Take care,
right,
guys.
Traci Burgess from KBB, folks. If you appreciate the conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We're going to take our final break. Then we'll come back here. We'll do the hashtag giveaway and do daily play and wrap it up. Stick with us.
Ordering from ER Fisheries has just gotten simpler. With just a few clicks of a button, you can place an order for next-day delivery or same-day pickup. Our ever-expanding list of offerings now include grocery pantry items, specialty meats, and bread and dairy items. We know things have been hard, and we're here to make planning for your next meal or party easy. Whether you're a vegetarian or a meat eater, we have what you're looking for. And best of all, it can be delivered to your door in 24 hours or less. Go to www.erfisheries.bm and check out our wide range of seafood, beef, lamb, pork, poultry, fruits, vegetables, and plant-based products, all available at reasonable prices. That's www.erfisheries.bm.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to Wilmot Trucking and KBB, Traci Burgess, for the conversation this morning. If you appreciated the conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Thanks again to the BAC Group, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these convos with you on a daily basis. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Raj, are you ready?
I am ready. I was coughing, so I am ready.
Okay, he's ready. Raj, how many wheels does Santa's sleigh have?
None.
Oh, he got it. He got it. That I think you broke Maya's racket.
Bang. Ain't got no wheel. That thing slips and slides. Dang. No, I'm actually impressed with myself.
Maya, he just broke your racket.
Dang. Don't say that. She's going to come down here. I don't need competitive Maya. I don't need it.
She's gonna come. That was quick, man. All right, let's wrap it up. Out of time. So final thoughts on this morning's discussion, birth rate, and then obviously the conversation with Tracy.
We have to really ask ourselves, is this a place where do we really take family seriously in Bermuda, and do we really take childhood and youthhood seriously in Bermuda? If we do, we would reflect that in policy comprehensively and in a way where it would improve our birth rate. We would incentivize birth. We would not only incentivize having children, we would address how children come into the world, right? Because at the moment, most women, well, the obstetric model, going to the hospital, having an OBGYN, that's like the only option. In other places in the world, you have birthing centers, you can have home births, you can do all kinds of different things, right? We are not a country that takes children seriously. We're not. We're not a country that takes families seriously. So we need to start being very intentional and very proactive about putting family policies in place and funding them, because we do have the money. Future Premier Dr. Toll, she made the point that we can make an SDO concessions worth millions, right? We're $1 billion government. We could find the money. In terms of Traci coming on this morning, let's be, of course, we live in unison with this earth. Let's keep on, protecting our future by protecting ourselves here in the present. But the 4 R's: reuse, reduce, reuse, recycle. There's another one. I'm being inadequate right now, but yeah, let's all do our part.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I think we need to delve deep. We need there's always money to do the right thing. Let me just say that.
It's
There's
a
always
simple
money to do
plan.
the right thing. It's just a matter of priorities by those who control the dollars. I don't think that all of Bermuda's issues come back to one thing: the economic situation. We need more people. A great way would be to incentivize people to have children. It's a conversation that our government should be having.
Very much so. And also, I want to this point from that Charles had made earlier. We talk about Teray. Like, hopefully, there's incentives for her to return. And Teray responded to it, and then Charles just responded that she's going to focus on her academic career, which is phenomenal. And she says, "I guess Dr. Toll won't be returning anytime soon." That is such a salient statement in this conversation, right? What are you doing to attract young Bermudian talent back home and to keep us there?
Well, they keep having conversations, but yeah, maybe that's a show for another day. But to close it up, I just want people to, when it comes to KBB and keeping Bermuda beautiful, I definitely want us to be a bit more conscious. You all know me; I don't like waste or litter, so I want us to be conscious going into the holidays. It's going to be a lot of waste. It's going to be a lot of trash, a lot more, just like Clock Match. Let's be conscious of our efforts, and if you need something to help you do things, hey, reach out to KBB. Roger, you got some daily inspiration brought to you by Fisheries for us.
I do, from Nobel Peace Prize winner Kofi Annan. There is no trust more sacred than the one the world holds with children. There is no duty more important than ensuring that their rights are respected, that their welfare is protected, that their lives are free from fear and want, and that they can grow up in peace.
All right. Hashtag KBB. We'll do this giveaway. Hashtag KBB. We'll do the giveaway, so you can hashtag. I appreciate that. And we have different stages of this show. And the daily inspiration, by the time we get there, a lot of people will be fine. But my hope every day, Roger, is that when we do share these inspirational quotes, somebody is touched by the words that are spoken. And it helps them, if not for anything else, have a better day. If nothing else. Hashtag giveaway KBB. Let's bring it up, folks. We almost forgot about it, Raj. I almost forgot about it.
Oh, wait, why are we hashtagging KB? Are we doing a giveaway?
Yes, we are, sir.
I missed it. Dang, I'm sorry. At least one of us is paying attention. My bad.
Yeah. Let's hit it, bro. Let's hit it. So let's do this giveaway. Where is the drum roll? Let's hit it. Let's hit it. Let's see who's it gonna be. Suzanne, congratulations to you. Please send an email right away to engage@thedailyhour.com. That's engage@thedailyhour.com to collect your winnings, Suzanne. Folks, it is that time. Please, this is your last day to fill out the survey. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Hours, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Roger Danbrook. I'm Jamel Hart, and please do make it a safe and a great day. VR is out. Peace.